So we got two Transformers Rise of the Beast items to talk about. One that I really want to break down because it's been a big discussion over the past couple of days about this item. And another one that we just learned about today, once again, finding out about it the traditional way, showing up in retail. And we got one here in Singapore that we're going to cover here quickly. It seems like we finally have the last member of the Transformers mainline Beast Alliance Beast Battle Masters. So we got our Cheetor that turns into a sword, a Rhinox that turns into a chain gun, a Skull Cruncher that turns into a long-barreled blaster, and then in Wave 2 we had our Optimus Primal that turns into a heavy-duty blaster. There was one more that was supposed to be in this assortment, and it was that of Airazor, and we finally have it here today, and she transforms into a bow blaster, looking really nice there. So now we have all at least of the movie appearance members from the movie. Now Maximal's getting a alternate form in that of these Battle Master designs. They obviously join all the other weaponizers that are pack-ins like Chainclaw and Sandstorm. So that is pretty cool. And we were kind of almost teased at it in a small sense because this is the next thing we're going to be covering, where when we saw the Ultimate Optimus Primal, they showed him covered in a whole bunch of Battle Masters, and they put Chainclaw in there for his arm to have like the chainsaw and stuff, but there was this absence on his leg because what is going to be there? And I found it funny. I was like, why didn't they put that last Battle Master? They could have easily put Arrow Strip, Stripe, which is the Battle Master that came with his Weaponizer 2-pack with Optimus Primal. So they left it absent, and I think it was because sooner or later that Airazor is going to be put there and we're going to have the full assortment. We're going to talk about now the next one here, and it's that of this Ultimate Optimus Primal, this Takara-Tomy one, as they listed here. And it's been creating a lot of conversation. What is this? What's the story with it? I'm going to break it down here for you guys because essentially there's a lot of conflicting information. There's a lot of people not understanding where this product fits in. And I'll say this right now off the bat, right away off the bat. This is something that if you do purchase it thinking you're getting your definitive version of the character, you're going to be disappointed. I've seen this many times where there's always this pursuit to get the best version of a character, and especially one here in Optimus Primal that's like a featured main character of the movie, and you want to get the best version of it. I'm just telling you guys, don't get too crazy about it, because this item, I get it, it's sold out, people are freaking out, oh my god, but this isn't going to be your studio series. This isn't going to be your MPM masterpiece. This is a ultimate version. And that kind of vernacular and lingo in Transformers is sometimes lost because we learned about this item. It was sold to us. Oh, this is the Takara-Tomy Rise of the Beast Optimus Primal, and it's a collector item and everything. But the more you look at it, the more you look at how it is, what goes on with it, it really is a mainline gimmick, large Christmas product, if anything, and not your definitive version that you will have in your collection later on. So let's break it down. So number one, first thing off the bat, more than anything, is the coloring. It has this very almost Nemesis kind of color scheme. It doesn't use the more lighter colors that obviously from what we've seen from the trailer and certain versions of the character that we've seen. This uses a very unique kind of color scheme that again is very similar to what we saw with a lot of mainline stuff where they're just kind of just trying to put out a product and convey a color. And especially with the case of Optimus Primal, where sometimes those colors were very, dare I say, Beast Wars Season 1 kind of related. And in this one here, we have one that's very dark and very almost bordering on just, it looks like a Nemesis Prime black repaint almost, if I didn't know any better. Now, there's a lot of cool stuff going with it. I mean, it's really cool that it has, number one, the changeable heads. And the changeable heads with you have the battle mask and you have the regular mask. People are curious, how does that work? It's going to be probably similar to how we saw back in the day. We had a similar system with the leader class Age of Extinction Optimus Prime, where he kind of had this like face that flipped back and you could twist it and put it back down. You have the different face because we saw the accessory list for this figure here and it doesn't have it as, let's say, a battle mask as an extra accessory or interchangeable head even. We just saw the two swords, the two missiles, and that's it. So this is probably something that's on the figure itself. You lift up the head, you twist it, you put it back down, and you'll probably get the other face mask or the battle. It's cool though, but it's a gimmick-based figure and stuff like that. And that's where we get even more so to the point that this is a gimmick-based figure, is that It has flip out shoulder cannons that have little missiles that come out. Now they're pressure based missiles, not spring loaded. We haven't seen spring loaded missiles in a while with Transformers in general. They're pressure based missiles, which you could tell what the difference is because they have those balls that are sculpted into the missile itself instead of a hook that would normally work with a spring. It has the pop out wrist cannons, which are pretty cool. It has a whole bunch of, in total, 6 5mm peg points meant for Battle Masters, tying in again the fact that this is a mainline or core gimmick based item to cross sell with everything else. It has 2 swords that have a male and female peg on them so they could be combined together to make one big sword like we saw in the movie, and of course could be held in the hand. And speaking of the hands have some kind of limited finger articulation too, so that's pretty awesome. It's a very good looking toy, combined with the fact that it says here it's going to be 12 inches tall, about 11.81 according to this, 30 centimeters, but let's just round it off, 12 inches tall, which is very large for most Transformer toys, especially when we're talking our more premium stuff like a Studio Series or Masterpiece. This is something that more falls in line with a big gimmicky kind of product. And that is that. So, what is going on here? So, this is clearly something that I'm very reminded of, like when we had the Transformers Cyberverse line. We had the ultimate price point. That's what it was called. And what was the ultimate price point? The ultimate price point was these big 10 to 12 inch tall figures that had some kind of gimmicks on them and had a price point that, despite the fact that they were bigger than most of your, let's say, Warrior or Ultra class Cyberverse toys, were priced fairly well compared to, like, let's say, the more premium items that we saw with Studio Series or our Generation stuff. But it made up for it because they were a little more hollow on the inside. You know, that's just kind of how they were. They were this very simple kind of thing. And when you look at Cyberverse Ultimate price point stuff, and then you look how much they used to cost in Japan, because these things were $30 here in America, but the Takara-Tomy versions, and you know how Takara-Tomy is, Japan overpays for their Transformer products in general. They're always way cheaper here when you compare the yen currency exchange to what we pay in retail MSRP. And the Ultimate Cyberverse stuff, again, $29.99, $30 here in the West. Those same items were 5,000 yen in Japan, or about $36 to sometimes $40 in Japan with exchange currency. So you're already talking a huge jump there. Now this thing here, this Optimus Primal we're talking about here today, is $59.99, so $60. And people are going, wow, it's $60, it's 12 inches tall. That's amazing. Like, this is going to be incredible product. Be careful, my friend. I get a feeling that this is something when people are going to have in hand, they're going to see that it does have limited articulation, mostly due to the transformation. It's a simple figure. It's a simple transformation, a simple figure. It stands up, you twist the legs, you twist the arms, you twist the head, you're done. You know, it's an Optimus Primal transformation, much like a Cheetor. They're not very super complex, but it's something where I get a feeling it's going to be a little light. It's going to be a little hollow, this one. And it's something that, if you love it, look, it looks dynamic. It looks cool. Again, that black, it's like a black repaint, so that's pretty awesome. But I think at the end of the day, it's going to be more of those gimmick-based items, those more ultimate-based items. And if you're someone that's trying to pursue and find the best Optimus Primal Rise of the Beasts version, that is still yet to come. And that's something where Studio Series is going to fill that gap, and we know that there's a Studio Series 1 coming. That's something where at some point, I'm sure for a fact, we're going to get a Masterpiece, a movie Masterpiece version. That's almost guaranteed, in my opinion. They're going to have to go that route, especially if this movie becomes ridiculously successful. Japan will want to engage with that. But again, it looks great. Don't get me wrong, but it's not going to be your definitive Primal. And it's something that if it does at some point in the future get a Western retail release, it probably will also be a clearance item, judging by its size. Because stuff that takes a lot of space like that usually also ends up on clearance because retailers don't want to have to deal with that kind of space being taken. But at the end of the day, still looks cool. Still looks cool. MSRP, like I said, from different kinds of people and stuff like that, including Hasbro Pulse before it got sold out, was $59.99. It's going to ship out October 15, 2023. By October 15, 2023, I get a feeling we're going to know about other Optimus Primal toys that might satiate you just a little more for what you're trying to get out of that character, especially when we're going to learn more about this character and see more about them visually in the movie theater. So that's just my little take on it. I just kind of wanted to break it down and make sense of what's going on here with this one. Again, looks really cool, but guys, at the end of the day, this is the more gimmick kind of item. It's very large. It's not going to fit in scale with, let's say, your display and collection. But hey, if you love the character, that's awesome. And at the end of the day, if you love it, there's nothing I could say that could change that. But if you're someone that's trying to find your definitive movie Primal for your display, it hasn't come yet. So just stay tuned and we'll learn more about that in the near future. And thanks again for listening here on the Transformers Slag podcast. And I'll talk to you again real soon. Tomorrow is the Saturday night Transformers Slag podcast live stream, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Saturday night. Be sure to come check it out, hang out, talk with the fans, and we'll talk more Transformers then. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.